Hello and welcome to Timberdoodle's 2026 first grade curriculum package. I'm Grace, this is my sister Hope, and we're going to walk you through each component that's included in the kit this year.
So let's start off with All About Reading Level 2. This will pick up right where Level 1 left off. If you didn't do Level 1 last year, be sure to hop on our website, take the placement test to see what is the appropriate level for your child. This Level 2 will allow your child by the end of it to be reading multisyllable words, understanding the silent E rules, reading contractions, and handling more complex phonics patterns. What we like about All About Reading is it is phonics based. It does give your child the ability to learn how to decode these words. It also includes the hands-on aspect of the magnets that are included, so your child can be building these words.
Getting that multi-sensory.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, it includes review papers. Games are included in the book to, feed maybe the dragon something through the paper, or different little word games with beautiful little cute illustrations that will help cement what they're learning in the lesson through an activity. Also included are the beautiful readers, which we love because it is hard to find a reader that correlates directly with the lesson, and All About Reading has done a great job of creating their own readers with cute, playful stories that the kids like, but that don't introduce words the kids are not yet familiar with. So very appropriate, very beautiful, good for all kinds of different kinds of learners. And what we have found is as far as reading programs go, the All About Reading program fits best for most children, and we really like that it can work for both your struggling reader and your fluent reader. This will give them the good phonics foundation that they need.
Absolutely. Next, you have spelling. So for this year, you're going to be doing level B, and this is a fun level because it's all based around nursery rhymes. So it's fun illustrations, cute little rhymes, 5 short daily activities, and it includes dictation, and then also kind of this find hunt kind of a thing where you're going to work with your student and look for it. Let's find all the bossy R's and circle them in purple. So it makes it almost it is a multi-sensory kind of an activity instead of simply being sit down and
Memorize.
write. Yeah, sit down and memorize, or sit down and write this list of words. It's actually going to be building this visual memorization rather than forcing a list.
Next up, we have the daily trait writing. So grade 1, you want your child to begin to learn how to write, to begin to think about writing longer works. So maybe a story, maybe a journaling, but that's kind of overwhelming, especially for this age group. But what daily trait writing has done is very cleanly broken it down into 25 weeks of lessons, the basics of writing. So they'll talk about the beginning of stories, the middle of stories, ending of stories, or they'll talk about what's the plot of the story, and all these different 6 traits to writing covered at a first grade level. The worksheets are reasonable and easy to accomplish, and if you have a child who is struggling with writing but you still want them to know this information so that they can be building up their story making skills and stuff, that's all still fine. You can accomplish that by just verbally going over the worksheet with them. So for some of my struggling writers, I still utilize the book, but I just verbally had them answer it, so we were still able to cover the same topic. Again, if you start around week 12 of your school year, because of it being a shorter amount of weeks included in the books, that will be perfect. Your child will be able to get the beginning of their reading and their spelling through the All About Reading, etc., and then move into this.
Next, we have Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. So poetry does a great job of reinforcing vocabulary and sparking the imagination, and 366 animal poems is a really great way to do that. So there's so much variety in the different styles of poetry, stunning illustrations. Some are silly, some are thoughtful. It's going to be a very fun book to read through with your kiddos.
So why did we pick this poetry book? Because poetry can feel laborious and overwhelming, but the Tiger Tiger makes it approachable. It feels like a treat to learn about a different animal, to see the funny little jokes. It's something that we looked forward to reading instead of drudgery, and enables you to get that poetry into your child's school day.
Next, we have Imagidice. So we also love this, not just for the fluent writer, but also for the struggling writer, because it takes writing out of the equation, but is still teaching the skills required for creative writing. It has 12 sturdy cubes with 72 unique etched and painted images on there. So you're going to roll the dice and come up with a story based on whatever images are face up. So it's not competitive. It doesn't require reading or writing, but it does really help inspire you to develop a great story, because it's got so many different prompts and you can work them in figure out what order you want to create your story. So really great for the whole family.
Yeah, and I really feel like at this age group, they are ready for the creative storytelling, but they're just not ready to put it on paper. But Imagidice really opens the door for that. I remember going through it with the boys to say, all of a sudden it seemed like their world opened, that you say, okay, I'm going to take the pirate ships one that turned up, and once upon a time there was a pirate ship, and all of a sudden they realized, oh wait, but then all of a sudden there was this other character, an umbrella. We forgot to pack our umbrellas. And so you begin to build the story, and you can just see their mind all of a sudden saying, whoa, I can make this story go a number of different ways, which is just really fun and builds that skill.
Okay, let's take a look at math. So we love Math You See, and this year you're going to be doing Alpha. If your student has not already been doing Math You See, jump online, do a placement test, and see if that's the correct level for them. But Math You See is a phenomenal program. It does a great job of explaining the math concepts via video. So that takes the mom work out of it to say, you play the video, watch it with your student, and then here's the worksheets for the week. But it also has the manipulatives, and this really helps kids understand the concepts and be able to take these and continue to build on them, not just have rote memorization that is then going to kind of start fading and going to fail them in the future as they try to add on to these early math concepts. So very doable. You're usually going to do about 3 worksheets a week, but it also has extra worksheets in there. So if you have a student who's struggling to grasp the concepts, it's got that built in to the program, so you already are able to support them further, but it also has everything you need for a student who wants to fast track it.
Yep, it is mastery based, which I like. Your child doesn't need to learn a little and then come back to it later. They learn it until they master it, and then you move on to the next one. So Math You See Alpha will include place value, time, shapes, measurement, early fractions, and skip counting.
Mr. 9 sneaks over and he grabs one because he wants to be what?
A 10.
A 10. So is he 10 now? Yes. How much do we have left over here? 4. And so 9 plus 5 is 110 and 4 units, right? Or 14. You like that? Do you know how you remember it, though? Watch this. Does anybody ever use a vacuum cleaner?
Next is the addition and subtraction wrap-up. So what this is basically a hands-on flashcard for your child. It's going to work on addition 1 through 10 and subtraction 1 through 10. You have these 10 little
self-correcting keys.
Yes, keys. That's the word I was looking for. So you take the string, wrap it from the question to the answer, 1 plus, and whatever key you're working on, 1 plus 9 to the answer is 10. It does have the lines on the back, so they can flip it over and see if they have done it correctly or not. And again, help them build that speed and that skill to quickly answer the questions through a hands-on outlet.
Okay, let's take a look at thinking skills. So in this grade, we have the miniLUK High IQ set, which is a very thorough hands-on thinking skill program, and we really love the hands-on component because the tiles are great. They feel good in your hands, they're sturdy, but it lets the student do a worksheet without having to be doing the writing. So it breaks it up a little bit from the mundane, and it helps them because it's self-checking on the back. So you'll have 12 different tiles. You arrange them according to the answers that you're looking at the workbook, arrange them according to the answers, and then flipping it over to see if the dots match what they should in the workbook. And if they don't, you need to go back and recheck your answers. So many skills are going to be taught in this format. It includes multiple workbooks that range from difficulty. So you start easy and it gradually brings you up in difficulty level.
Yeah, so it builds visual perception, logic, spatial awareness, memory, and concentration, all within this hands-on game-like format.
Next, we have the Play Smart Coding Skill Builders. So this is a really fun, colorful workbook, but it's actually working on all these pre-coding skills. So you're going to be tracing paths, sorting, following sequences, finding and fixing errors. But it's really great because this is all that intense thinking skills and coding skills, but it's all from this playful activity format.
Yeah, it teaches the thinking that's behind the coding. So
Exactly.
Before they would ever get to the screen time, the kids are going to learn that the directions lead to the results, and that's what you want them to see, and that mistakes change the outcome. So again, what you're trying to say is what you do here influences here, and that being able to do that thinking skill, that executive functioning, to recognize that is valuable for many more applications than coding.
Absolutely.
But that is a practical application as well.
Okay, and then following that is beginning coding, which is going to take it a little bit deeper. It's another 115-page workbook. Again, no screens needed, but it's going to have 8 story-based units that are working on algorithms, sequencing, loops, debugging, conditionals, and more. Now, you might say, why an emphasis on coding at first grade? But there's so much logic and thinking skills that's incorporated and played out in this format that we find it to be a very helpful, thorough thinking skill program for first graders.
So it's story driven. Each concept is connecting to real life, which is practical and helpful. It's going to build problem solving, pattern recognition, and logical thinking. So why 2 books? Well, because they pair together. They're similar concepts, but they are a different approach. So our favorite idea is to finish the Play Smart book first, then follow with this one, do about 5 to 6 pages a week, or you can do 2 to 4 pages a week from both books, but our preference would be start with the one, finish with the other, and they kind of tailor together and build on each other.
Next, we have Cat and Mouse, which is a Timberdoodle exclusive. It's a classic maze puzzle that's going to be really working on building those different thinking skills in a hands-on game format. 48 different challenges. Build a path to connect the cat to the mouse, or the dog to the cat, or it's got a number of different challenges that they're going to work through. And it's going to increase to such a level of complexity that we usually recommend setting a timer and saying, work at it for 10 minutes and see if you can figure it out today. And if not, we'll bring it out again, because it starts easy, but it's gonna take you up there to some really complex visual spatial skills.
Not just a road from this character to this character, but it's a road from this character to this character, but do not allow access to this one or this one. This one can have access to here, but this one can, and it's just really complex. But again,
great.
That executive functioning to think, if I allow this to happen, I have to be aware that this does not also happen. Great skill to be building with your child that you can start all the way down in first grade is phenomenal.
Yeah, and they are having to do a lot of that forward planning, because if they're realizing it, well, that piece is going to dead end if I put it there, and so I need to save that 4-way piece. I think I'm going to need it over here. So it is really an excellent, travel-friendly, compact game.
Next, for our multiplayer game, we have the Postman observation game. Love this game. It's beautifully done. The pieces are quality pieces. It changes every time you set up the board, because the board that you're playing on is in multiple pieces, so you can lay it out in a number of different
So you don't have the adults memorizing the board and having an edge on it.
Basically, you're mailing the letters. And so the cards is, you're going to be the first one to spot the house that's on the card. That ranges in difficulty levels as well. So you're dealing with visual discrimination. You're dealing with thinking skills as far as, well, it says it has 3 windows and a chimney. Now you got to look at the entire city and say, what are my options, and does it fit the right shape of window and the right shape of chimney or right number of chimneys? So you're going to build visual memory, you're going to build attention to detail, quick thinking. It's got multiple difficulty levels, so it grows with your child. And at least we found for ourselves that it's at the right level for the first grader and for the parents. So it's a perfect game for multi-generational use.
Next, let's look at history. So for history this year, we have Story of the World, and this is the newly expanded version. It's story-driven ancient history, and it's going to be told like a bedtime story, not like a textbook. So very engaging, lots of biographies and illustrations, and then it's got the student workbook to go along with it. So you can either do this just as a read aloud. We include the audiobook, so you can just play it in the car, play it as you go, during Lego time, what have you. Or you can take this as deep as you want and make it be a maps and crafts and coloring and activity. All that is there for you. Everything you need with recommendations for taking it further.
So why did we pick this history book to put in here? Well, because every chapter reads like an adventure. Kids are going to want the next chapter. It's also flexible across all ages, or across many ages. So read it aloud for the younger learners. Independent older learners could read it to themselves. But honestly, what we have found is we turn it on as an audiobook, and you have all ages listening in and learning together, which is perfect.
Okay, next up we have geography. So we've got Skill Sharpeners Geography Grade 1, and this is a workbook that's going to familiarize your student with continents, oceans, landforms, and habitats. But what we really appreciate about it is it's colorful, it's short nonfiction passages, but it's really building that vocabulary. And that's so important to be doing that at this early age, so that way as they continue to hit geography, they've already put those words in their brain to kind of help them remember and help build on it throughout the years. Very doable. It's got some hands-on activities with it. Again, depending on your schedule, you can just do the workbook pages and the nonfiction readings, or if you've got a little crafter who loves doing those crafts, keep those in there and they will enjoy doing them.
We also include the ScrunchMap World. If you're looking for a durable visual representation of the world,
especially as you go through history,
this is it. Easy to pull out. It scrunches back, throw it back in the toy bin. It is tear resistant, water resistant, almost practically indestructible. So you can scrunch it, twist it, stuff it, doesn't matter. Don't need to fold it back up. It's vibrantly colored with a lot of detail on it. And what it will give you is the ability to reference where these different historical stories were happening, or where you're studying in geography, where that is in relation to where you are, or any innumerable amount of other applications for your first grader this year.
Okay, next we have science. So I'm really excited about Real Science for Kids because it's so doable and also so rich. So this is going to be an intensive, heavy-duty science course, all at a very achievable level. It has labs and activities available, but not required. And to me, that's a big plus. 22 chapters, clear, engaging, vivid illustrations, and new this year, it's got an audio feature online that comes with it. So if you have a student that wants to read it, but their reading level's not there yet, and you don't want to sit and read it to them, you've got an audio option where it will go page by page, because you don't want to lose those illustrations. The illustrations are excellent at explaining the concepts that they're trying to explain, and by doing a page by page audio, you aren't losing that. So I really love that. I love that you can go on, print off the student worksheets, print off the experiments if that's something that you want to do as a family, or if you don't have time this year to do a bunch of experiments that doesn't fit your schedule, doesn't fit your teaching style, no problem. They're still going to get these rich science concepts in a very achievable format.
Yes, so it's going to be covering all 5 core branches. So it's got chemistry, biology, physics, geology, and astronomy within those 22 chapters. So why did we pick this science book? Because it gives kids the big picture first about how science fits together. Also, it's easy to teach. The concepts are complex, but the structure of the chapters and the layout of the book makes it easy to read, easy to discuss. You can do a couple sections a week, or you can just say, I'll do a chapter a week, whatever is easiest. But nothing overwhelming, not dumbing down science by
not at all
any stretch. And yet it also keeps it very manageable and understandable for this age. Also included is the Dr. Livingston's Junior Human Body Floor Puzzle. It's a 100-piece jumbo floor puzzle, 48 inches long, which is about the size of a life-sized first grader, which makes it extra fun. Basically, it's a detailed map, not just of the body, but of the muscles, the bones, the veins, the organs, everything head to toe. It's anatomically accurate and gender neutral, which I appreciate. Good, thick, sturdy pieces. Again, a great way to get hands-on with your child to look at health and the human body.
Okay, let's look at STEM, and I'm really excited about all the components we have in STEM this year for first grade. So Plus Excursion, this has been a family favorite of ours for years, and I don't see that ever changing. It is a plus-shaped piece that you can build into any number of different open-style creations, models, 3D models. You can build flat models. So much creative opportunity here. But for those of you who, like me, may not have that, I can think it in my brain and create it, there's also a number of different models in our handbook. So what we like to have students do is a convergent and divergent approach to STEM. And this gives you everything you need for that. You're going to give them an assignment. They're going to do that model. That's your convergent. And then you're going to give them a more of an idea, a prompt.
Yes.
A prompt. And that's your divergent, where they're going to come up with their own creative thinking and build something.
So build this apple, and the next day build something that you ate today, or build something that grandmas like to use, or whatever it is, so that it helps them have to think about what it is they want to build and then come up with the design themselves.
Yes, absolutely. So all the pieces you need, even has wheels so you can make vehicles. It is a set that not only your first grader is going to enjoy because it is such a versatile, fun, almost a fidget even when you're done with it.
New this year, we have shape makers. So what this basically is a spatial building puzzle. You're going to have turning a 2D picture into a 3D stacked structure, and it uses 40 wooden pieces. You have 24 challenge cards. What we like about this is it's going to teach your child how to think multi-dimensionally. So they are going to look at the shadows on the side and figure out how stacking the blocks on the board will create the shadow not just in front of the piece or behind the piece, but to the side of the piece. So they are having to really stretch their brains to figure out this multi-directional spatial thinking. It supports engineering and problem solving. Trial and rebuilding is learning. So
it is.
Every attempt sharpens their visualization and helps them to build this skill.
And if you want to take it further, you can use this as a fun family game and compete together to see who can solve their challenge first, because it does have enough components to do that.
That's true. It does come as a set of 4, so that does enable you to either assign it as an assignment for the week for the child or to turn it into a family game.
Next, we have art. So let's take a look at Create Your Own Planet. And this is another book that Timberdoodle had brought back because it is such a phenomenal way to get kids thinking. It's got all kinds of creative doodle prompts, but with this theme of if you had your own planet, what would you have and what would you do? Invent your places, invent your animals, invent your foods. So really fun because it kind of gives you a little insight into the kids and what they're thinking and what they would want on their island or their planet. So kind of a part art, part storytelling, and it gets both sides of the brain working while also getting them to be putting that pencil to paper.
And I like how it goes beyond just, would your planet have clouds? Yes or no, draw a cloud, to what would your clouds look like? And all of a sudden that opens a whole new thought of, you know what? I don't think they'd look like clouds. I think they would look like ice cream cones, and they would be ice cream cones. Those would be our clouds, or whatever it is. That creative thinking, it really opens the door to that imagination for them.
Next, we have the Woodland DIY Garland Kit. So I'm really excited about this one. This is also exclusive to Timberdoodle Company, and what it is a color and assemble garland kit. So you're going to end up with this beautiful wooden garland that they can hang up in their room, they can hang up to celebrate something, or they can gift it as part of a birthday gift, what have you. But it's a really fun, therapeutic art project. Each animal shape can be done separately. So you can just pull out an animal shape, use these high quality acrylic markers, and they color, or it's painting with markers, the different animals. So a really peaceful project. Again, building in a life skill of therapeutic art while also doing creativity and thinking through how they would like their animal to be colored in.
And it's just fun that it's not just another piece of paper to get added to the stack. This becomes a decoration that then they can enjoy throughout their school year, hanging on the wall or decorating some reading nook, or however you choose to use it. Next up, we have Clay by Number Cat. Now, again, I really like to incorporate as much sensory art as we can because that's so important at this age. And this guided clay kit does just that. So it enables your child to have the sensory component of coloring in the paint by number or clay by number design. The soft air dry clay is very appealing to touch. There's no sticky or ick factor to it. It's wonderful to use. There is no guesswork, so this is one of your more convergent art projects where they tell you where to put it and you can put it there, and it leaves you with this great 3D art at the end of it to decorate your room with. So great for building fine motor control, great for working on numbers, and just the creativity side.
Next, we have the Build and Grow Treehouse. So again, this is another really fun set that's going to have the creative side of it, but you're also doing a little bit of building. And I don't know about your kids, but just about every first grader I know and a couple second, third graders are just really into tree houses. So this is a very appealing set, and we really appreciate the quality of the set because it includes enough paint. So they're going to paint the tree house, they're going to assemble everything, and then they've got these fun little animals that are going to play in the tree house.
We have tried other treehouse art construction sets, and the idea of them is really fun, but practically they haven't made the cut because there wasn't enough paint, or they were too hard to assemble. The quality just wasn't there. So I really do appreciate on this Faber-Castell one that the quality is there, that like Grace said, there is adequate paint. Everything is there that you need to make this a successful building project. And as we product tested it and then brought the kids in, there was that automatic magnet of, ooh, I really like this. I would love this. I would want to do this. Yeah, this is much better than the ones we've tried before. So a great hit, a big win, and fun. It comes with chia seeds that you can sprout and add to the design so that it looks like a real tree house.
Yes, and then it also has the artificial leaves. So if the chia seeds, when they're done, or if you don't want to do the mess of the chia seeds, you've got the artificial option. So that way it's got longevity to it. It's really a phenomenal set, and we do really like having multiple different art and craft sets, so that way your student is learning, wow, I could create a 3D something out of wood. Wow, I can make something out of clay. Wow, I painted something. Getting all this variety of different art and being able to take that and use that later.
Okay, let's talk about test prep. Now, whether your state does or does not require testing at the end of the year, this will be a valuable resource for you because it will allow you to, at the end of the year, basically get a summary of how your child is doing. It will also enable your child to practice taking a test so that they don't have testing anxiety if it is required in later years. But either way, we feel like it is a very valuable resource because it allows you to say, this is what they're expected to have covered. Here's how they are scoring. Here's what they have forgotten or what we should hit again. Or, man, they did great. We did great. We're happy with how it went. Gives you that inside look at where they're at. Also included is the Faber-Castell grip colored pencils. This is just included to make your school day easier. So when you're going to do the spelling and they're saying you need to circle the bossy R in purple, you've got purple. You're good to go. I especially like these pencils because of the texture when you color on the paper. I don't like it when they don't feel good when you're coloring.
These one's got good glide.
Yep. They've got the grippy texture on the outside for added grip, so less work for your child as they hold the pencil, and they've got the triangular shape so they're not rolling off the table. So all in all, to set you up for an easy setup for your school day each week.
Also included in all of our curriculum kits is our handbook. So this is going to be an invaluable resource for you because not only does it tell you each of the components that's included in your kit with recommendations on how to schedule it, it gives you access to our online scheduler where you can customize, you can add components if you want to add piano or foreign languages or anything else that your family is doing on a weekly basis. And then you can go in and set up your schedule as a weekly schedule or a daily schedule. So depending on what kind of flexibility or structure you're looking for in your week, it's out there for you. And then you can print it off and you've got that checklist to know, how am I arranging all this? There's a lot of different art components. Where do all these different pieces come in? It's going to lay that all out for you so that way you just worry about implementing and that side of it is already taken care of for you.
Yeah. It also has a reading challenge.
It does.
So if you want your child to be well versed in a number of different genres of reading, and the reading challenge helps you to do that, so you don't get stuck just on one topic. That you are exposing your child to a bunch of different topics, a bunch of different writing styles, so that when you've ended the year, they've had that exposure to all of that through your reading time. So the reading challenge will help you know, here's some different options in each of these different subjects or categories.
Yes, and then we always recommend that if you're not sure which level your students should be going into, go online, take the placement tests, and go online, customize. There's so many different ways that you can tweak this to be perfect for your student. And so if you've got any questions about that or you need any help with that, please give us a call, chat us, email us. We're always happy to help out.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you spending your time with us, and we hope you have a great year homeschooling.